Waller them out.
Eventful.
Crank Turner 9000
Wow.
here. Best intake you can get. Oh, Granny showed up. More of an issue than I thought.
We got a few hammers. Torch that thing? Dang, son.
100%.
Woo!
Come on, man. I did get sick. Look at what she's bought.
Skeet, skeet.
Rusty.
Did you say Shirley? Spot on, Mom. No. Oh, you got me. Captain Obvious.
Thank the good Lord.
Oh, that feels crappy.
Never seen that before.
Wow, Ralph.
That's a pretty face. Dang, son. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Woo! She rub up against anybody. Was driving. Isn't that gross?
Hog jaws. Yeah.
Sharing is caring. That ended in catastrophe.
You the bestest?
Race motor.
Wow.
I didn't think about that.
I've seen the new goats.
That's a good stuff.
What a goofball.
Always watching.
Welcome back to the Sleeper Dude YouTube channel. We're back with our 72 International Metro Mite. That in the last video we kind of mid-mount our 6-liter LS and 4L60EN. I told you in the last video that we were going to do some performance stuff to the engine, and as you can see we have no seats in the front or anything, so that's what we're going to work on in this video. We got several performance parts we're going to put on this engine because we have clearance issues in the bottom. We want to shorten the intake up top as well. We got a chop cam kit. We got some front seats for it. If you watched the last video, we moved this engine back 2 feet from where the factory engine is. So we're gonna have better weight distribution. We're actually going to weigh it in this video. We finally got some scales to weigh these cars. We've been wanting to do that for a long time. We're gonna find out what she weighs. I'm gonna guess this thing probably weighs, this is hard because I don't really know for sure. I'm gonna say it weighs 3,300 pounds. Do you guys wanna guess?
3,600.
Probably 38.
Okay. I guess I've got the lowest guess. Mom, you got a guess?
I say 4.
4,000. Okay. We'll have to get Squeezy's guess here in a minute when she comes down, but I said let's start with our seat. What do you say?
Oh, I'm excited about this thing.
I've been dying to put the seat in there,
Yeah, let's
so
try
we got 2 seats for it. Let me show you what they are. Check these out. So we got some what they call bomber seats, which I've always wanted some, never owned any, and I thought it would be perfect for this. Should be super comfortable as well. We got our factory seat mount. This is all I've ever sat on when I've drove this thing before. Something like that right there. Should be pretty easy to mount. We've just got to make the other side, because this was a Postal van, so it had no seats aside from this driver's seat at all. It had a shelf above the engine, which we may reuse for putting your mail. The whole back would have just been full of boxes of mail for people. So there's 4, oh, there's like 8 bolt holes in this thing.
Yeah, but these are very wide. You'd have to drill like over here.
He's right. We could probably make those 2 line up. Hey, can we get, if we waller them out, we might can get all 4 to line up with barely any effort here. Which that's what I'm usually looking for, is what can I get done with barely any effort. All right, let me test fit this thing here. Let's back this dump truck up here. Oh, I just barely fit. Oh, it feels like a pretty good driving height. It's a little low, but not enough that I want to fabricate a whole new setup, you know. I like to,
Easy there.
you know me, I like to sit leaning back a little bit. Oh, we forgot. We got mirrors for this thing.
Yeah, we did.
I forgot about
We
that.
got mirrors. I can't wait. That's what I want to get on today.
Y'all gonna have to get on that while I'm doing something else, huh?
Yeah.
Let me try one thing here. Hold the seat, Ralph. I may be getting sick, guys. I don't know. I'm losing my voice, which Tosh says may be a good thing.
Yep.
So if we take the bolt out and we set it down on top of this bolt, we could weld that thing in place. Try that. That gives us what, another couple inches up higher. Oh yeah, I feel commanding in this position. Do you think that's better? Does that feel, I mean, I could wear a top hat in here.
Yeah, I mean, you have plenty of room. What does it feel like with your feet and the pedals and
Remember,
stuff?
look back.
Yeah, there's like stickers everywhere. Look back before back. We should get our gas pedal and everything. We have a shifter and a gas pedal and a seat and everything. We should probably get all that sorted out. So if I bolt this thing down flat, I'd be right here. It's not terrible right there. I would prefer this, but I don't know if I can do that without making all new brackets and stuff.
You just
Yeah.
gotta think about the other drivers.
Yeah. Is this gonna be too far back for you
Oh, I don't
to
know.
drive it? Right there's pretty centered up on the thing. It's great for me, which just don't have a clutch or nothing, so. You think you can drive from there?
Sure.
Surely?
Surely.
All right, let's get some bolts and get this thing bolted in. If Ralphie hasn't used up all my bolts. He's been making artwork with bolts lately in the welder. Look, it's a swivel seat right here.
How much do you think this Metro Mite is gonna weigh?
I'm gonna guess 4,600.
All right, we'll see.
So you've waited all week to watch the latest Sleeper Dude video. Don't you wish you could have watched it at least a couple hours ago? Well, you kind of could have. If you would have ordered Factor, you wouldn't have had to go to the grocery store. You wouldn't have had to prep that meal. You wouldn't have had to wash those dishes before you sat down finally to watch our video tonight. With Factor, you can get a fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meal delivered right to your door, ready to eat in 2 minutes. We're talking restaurant-quality food here. Factor has over 35 weekly meal options. They even have keto, calorie smart, protein plus, vegan plus veggie, and more. And they have over 55 add-ons like desserts, protein shakes, smoothies, juices, and much more. I'm going to go with the garlic mushroom chicken thighs. Look at that. Just pop some vent holes in it, drop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and you're good to go. It's just that easy. It's less expensive to take out. I know what some of y'all are spending on getting your food delivered. I've seen you out there. They even offer breakfast options if you love breakfast like I do. And you can pause your order at any time. Or if you have family in town and you need extra, you can choose between 6 and 18 meals per week. We're always in a hurry around here with filming. It's a constant go, go, go. And Factor is my go-to option if I'm in a hurry. Because sometimes I only got 2 minutes. Look how nice this looks. You can't beat it. My favorite meals they offer are the chicken and pork chops. I absolutely love them. Every week I'm excited when the Factor box shows up. It's just such good quality food. Man, the chocolate banana shake is on point. So quit wasting all that time at the grocery store and prepping meals and washing dishes and head to factor75.com or click the link below in the description and use code SleeperDude50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. That's 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors in every order as long as you're an active subscriber. That's factor75.com and use code SleeperDude50 for 50% off your first Factor box. Big thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video and supporting our channel. If you use our link, it's going to help support our channel as well. Now let's get back to the video. So we're going to be able to use existing holes, kind of. We're just going to have to wall her out a little bit here at the back. I kind of hate to drill. It looks so cool.
I know.
Y'all will be happy to know that Wall passed her permit test. Apparently there's more steps to it now than there used to be. You gotta like get it signed by the school or something. I don't know. When I was a kid, you didn't have to do that. You had a computer screen that was this deep and a keyboard from the 80s, and you clicked it and it sounded like a 50 amp relay clicking when you typed. And it was like A, B, C, or D. Remember that, Marge?
Yep.
There's more steps to it now, so hopefully she'll get to drive legally on the road real soon. Because, you know, I wouldn't let her drive otherwise. Well, at least this seat has some built-in drains, and in certain cases, that is really handy. You want to hit this one? Don't hammer down to Chinatown with it, just give it a little...
I can still reach the brakes.
Oh, yeah. There you go. You're a growing boy anyway, so... It works out real nice. We'll have to figure out a new way to fasten that. I'll probably just weld it after we get done installing this engine for good.
Yeah.
Marge, you want to try it out?
Sure.
I mean, you're going to be the one driving this, so.
Exactly.
Can you reach them?
Barely.
Barely reach them? I guess you could put sliders under that seat if you had some. You know?
I'll be fine.
Be all right, you think?
Yeah.
You look nice in there, Marge.
Thank you.
I can reach the pedals just fine.
Hey.
I'm taller than Marge though, so.
You gonna drive back to school?
Hey, that'd be pretty cool. Pulling up at school in this.
It'd be cool.
This wagon's got an oil leak, guys. That's why it's up on the lift right now.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, can you believe it? It finally gave us a problem.
I probably should have took it a little easier on it.
I know. I'm just glad that didn't happen in Wyoming.
Right.
So we've got to make everything on this side. I did look around. I found some pieces of metal. This is a leftover piece of our other building when they built it.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that might be a pretty good mount for it. I mean, if it'll hold the building up, surely it'll hold me up, right?
Yeah.
How tall is that?
25.5 inches.
Okay. It looks really close to what the other side is. What do you think? Is it okay for it to be a little lower?
Yes.
It is barely lower. Go measure the other side, see what it is.
29.
29. Okay. Think so? I could cut something else and make it the same height. Do you think it matters?
Nah.
If you're not driving?
I mean, it looks pretty similar.
We're probably gonna make this where it bolts in and out or something. So if we ever have to pull the engine again, we'll be able to do that.
Well, and you may can add link to the bottom, like with a plate or something on the bottom, if you're gonna, I don't know how you're planning on mounting it.
So the other seat post is 9.5 inches back at the front edge of the post. So right there, it would be the same distance back. And maybe we get a piece of pipe that goes inside there, like that does, you know, and we could adjust the height a different way.
Cool.
Yeah,
But
that'd be good.
maybe we could do something like that. I don't know.
And we can make it sit at the same level, you know?
I guess let's drill some holes and bolt this thing to it. That's what you want, a marker that's the exact same match as the metal, so you have no idea where you marked it at. But you don't never know what you're gonna get with squeeze if you borrow stuff. So our top bolt needs to be in this area because the frame is in our way here. So we can drill anywhere down here or right in this area. Ralphie loves the drill press. Just go straight through all the way to the bottom.
Eventful. It's through.
Good job.
Good job, boy.
At least that way we know it's straight through. I may lean it back just a little bit, you know? That gangster lean, about like that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right there. I feel like I'm putting in a road sign or something here. I found this piece of metal. I don't know where we got that, do you?
No.
I think we can cut it down shorter and make it our base plate here. I'm really thinking I'm gonna stick something else inside there though.
I love how we just like weld random pieces of metal together and
Well,
call
that's
it.
basically what I've been doing my whole life.
Well, I mean, it's worked so far.
Yeah. Right there at 11, Ralphie. Okay. Dead on. What are we gonna cut this with?
Chop saw.
I don't know if will it fit in the chop saw? Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll try it. See if it'll cut it. That's as far as I can cut it on that side. Our blade's about wore out, really. Well, we got almost all of it cut. There you go.
Merchandise available at thesleeperdude.com. We got hats, we got hoodies, we got stickers, shirts, sometimes even squeezy panties. You can check out our second channel at SleeperDude2, our third channel at SleeperDude Armed, and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at SleeperDude88. Woo! So I'm gonna take this chain and stuff deal off so we can put the intake on. I want to clean these valve covers up. It's so low to the ground, it's crazy.
We need about 7 or 8 inch stub to go down in there to be like the other side. We got the old Crank Turner 9000 here.
Wow.
This was on that car.
Yes, literally.
Yeah, this is the Ralphie Power engine turner. So actually, now I think about it, we used it on 2 cars. We used it on this wagon and the black wagon. Yeah, it's been a good one. So you'll notice that a lot of times I'll let off and get back on it, let off, get back on it. Sometimes the blade can get started at a little bit of an angle. If you just hammer down the whole time, it'll continue at that angle. I back it up and just make sure it's cutting it straight. I went a little bit longer, that's 12 inches. That way, if we want to go up higher later, we have that option. So 3 5/8 should be centered, right?
Yeah.
Are you welding it? Is that what you're doing here?
Absolutely.
Try to make a bead. There towards the end, you were getting more on the base. That's where you need to be. You need to make sure you're getting on both halves. Yeah, that's looking good. Good weld. Yeah. Works work. Oh, we can pour it down the middle, Ralph. That'll be cool. So if you're wondering about our welder, we replaced the whole torch lead part with a longer one actually, and it seems to be doing better. Ralphie's been welding with it more than I have lately, and he says it's doing good. So hold that.
Ooh, toasty.
So we need to go up to 29 to be at the other side. Right there is the same as the other side. There you go. Okay. Now we're the same height as the other side.
Awesome. That looks good.
It does. It looks really cool, doesn't it? We just gotta drill our bolt holes here, and we can bolt this thing in. I love how they look.
Yeah.
They look so cool in
They
here,
look
don't they?
really good.
We've always needed seats in it because we've never had, like, you know, seating for anybody. Normally this would be the driver's seat, but it's the passenger seat in this car.
Isn't that weird?
Feels like the right height and distance. Look, my feet are on the little curvy area.
I could drive fine.
Yeah. Not that it's really the next step I need to do, but I've been dying to set the intake on this thing and the headers and stuff, so I think we're gonna go ahead and do that now. All I did was bump my thumb.
Yeah.
I don't need stitches or
yes,
anything.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
She wants to be the little doctor.
You're lucky because if it was any more wire than that, I'd be having the needle out here right now, okay?
Was that the trash can?
Yes.
It's an emergency.
Yeah. I got her a present for her birthday, a practice suture kit, and that was like her favorite thing she's ever got. So, best $25 I've ever spent.
See? That's how you're supposed to hold it, guys. That's how you're supposed to hold it. And you put it on there without
Why
touching
do I
it.
need that on it?
Because this is going to keep it from getting infected. Understand?
Gotcha.
Okay. Here we go.
That was half a tube of stuff left.
We'll come back.
She didn't buy it.
Look at that.
Exquisite.
Just beautiful.
Thank you, nurse.
Oh, that's huge. Is that
Yeah.
what is that what we
That's that big boy stuff.
That's
What we have here is a MSD Atomic intake. So the reason I picked this is because I didn't want it to stick up real far because we don't want our doghouse to be real tall. Because I thought about putting a high ram on it, and I thought that'd be cool. They actually make an intake that is like a cross ram deal with 2 throttle bodies, but all that would require a lot of space. So I decided to get this instead. I've actually kind of pre-assembled some of it. So I put the fuel rails on it, and I got the adapter to go to a 3-bolt throttle body because I'm going to try to bolt on our stock throttle body from our truck intake. So this is part number 2702. The adapter is 2709 and the rails are 2720, but you really don't need to write all that down because if you go in the link in the description, it'll take you to a list of all the parts we use on this project. So if you ever look at any dyno stuff, like whatever, Richard Holdner maybe, this is like the best intake you can get as far as an engine making power where we are, where we're gonna be revving it maybe to 6,500 or something like that. The high rams and stuff make better power way up top, but as far as power throughout the whole RPM range, this is the best intake you can get, really. Oh, Granny showed up. Come on, Ellie. Oh, let's you go that way. But I wanna pull this apart actually and show you guys what the runners look like, because it's kind of confusing the way these intakes are. So you would think of like a Holley high ram of having longer runners than what this does, right? Because this is short.
Yeah.
Well, I never really realized when I was younger how this works, but look at this. I'm gonna take this apart and show you guys. So even though it's a short intake,
Oh, wow.
that's how the runners are inside. So see, the runner is all this length here. So it actually pulls its air in from this side to go to that cylinder.
Look, they're super wide.
I know. So this longer runner length like this gives you a good RPM band for a somewhat rowdy street engine.
Torque, son.
That's right. Look, it's got O-rings that go all the way around the whole deal. This thing actually has 3 different map sensor options. So you got the map sensor option here, here, and one right there. And none of them are drilled through. So you just pick which one you want to use and you drill it through from the other side. But we have a built-in map sensor when the Holley Terminator X we're going to use. So we don't need any of them. All right, we'll set this back down on here. It's pretty cool how it comes apart, huh?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I've never seen one like that.
Yeah. You know, like the old LS1 intake is actually the worst power producing intake they made. So the truck intakes are not that bad, especially the bread box intake, but you know, they're this tall. We'll set our old one up against this and see the height difference. What do you think about it, Granny? She loves the MSD Atomic. I tell you what. These are bolts. That's an Allen wrench. It's like she has no idea what something is unless she gets her nose on it. This even has a crossover if you want to use your factory rails, but all we had was truck rails, so that's why we went with aftermarket ones. Let's do a little comparison here. So here is our truck intake. That intake is 12 inches to the top and disgusting looking. And this intake is a little less than 8 inches. So it's going to save a little over 4 inches in height. Granny would like to rub up on you.
It's always you.
Yeah, she loves mom. Let's pull this throttle body off here. See if it'll bolt up like I think it will. Is that a 10? Looks like an 11.
It was in the 10mm thing.
My
I
trained,
didn't know that.
my trained eye. I mean, when you use them all day long, every day, you eventually learn what they look like.
Oh, I thought you
Gone
had it.
forever. This is gonna be my first experience with a drive-by-wire swap.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it though because I don't have to run a throttle cable or any sort of linkage or anything. Just plug it all in. I like the adapter though. It's like billet aluminum and everything. Go like that right there.
Oh.
Well, it fits.
Yeah.
So we're not final installing this obviously because we're actually gonna do a cam swap. We're gonna pull the heads and everything. So I know the water pump is gonna be an issue and we actually have a new water pump. So it's more of an issue than I thought. All right, let's pull the water pump real quick so we can bolt this down. So we already want to change the water pump we talked about in the last video because this sticks straight up. They make some that go forward. So that's what I ordered. Hopefully it'll fix that problem and this clearance issue. All right. So here's our new Holley water pump. It's set up for the truck spacing. You can see it moves this all over here. Hopefully we'll have enough room right here for a throttle body and everything. Does it even come with a thermostat? Man, thermostat, the heater hose, the whole deal. Spot for you to put your tensioner. They make like 3 different styles of the water pumps depending on what you need. Hopefully this will be the right one for what we're doing. Yeah, that's gonna make building a doghouse a whole lot easier. We're just gonna mock it up for now. Mom don't like mocking things up.
I hate it.
Mom just wants to install everything first shot. Are y'all gonna play happy together? Okay, now we got ample room. And look how much flatter that looks.
I'm gonna make them valve covers look
It's
good.
looking good.
Yeah, Ralphie's gonna have to clean up her valve covers for sure.
And the heads.
There's 3 different spacing on LS accessories. So there's like the truck or LS3 spacing. Then there is, I think, Camaro, Firebird, LS2 or something. And then there is the Corvette spacing. So on my Starlet I had Corvette spacing because I had the shortest car in the world to put an LS motor in. And I needed every inch I could. So I think between those spacings you can get a couple inches of room. Granny's coming in the back right now. Hey Granny, how you doing? Looking good. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. We're just gonna be able to plug this right into our harness and not have to run any cables or rods or nothing. Get rid of all this factory junk.
Well, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
It's got Arrest Me Red on it and everything.
What?
Arrest Me Red?
That's not what that is.
Or Resell Red, that's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Paint it red to resell it. Let me show you our gas pedal actually. How easy is this? Every car I build, I don't look forward to the throttle part because, you know, well, we've had throttle issues in the past. Let's just go with that. All you have to do is 2 bolts, anywhere you want. I could literally mount this here if I wanted to. I could literally have the gas pedal there and use my forehead to work it. We had all kinds of trouble with the throttle on this thing. If you remembered, it was pretty much wide open or nothing at all. So we should be able to mount this somewhere over here. I don't know if I want to mount it up there or mount it here. We should get this old one out of the way though first, huh?
Yes.
I can't believe it. I thought for sure it wouldn't come out. So, can it get out of there now? Remember, this was completely froze up when we first started on this thing. That's one reason why it didn't work good. Okay, that won't come up. And it sits under that. Okay, good deal.
Can it go out behind it?
The bracket encompasses it. We'll just cut it.
Don't be throwing sparks on my intake now.
Yes, ma'am. There we go. Look how thick that thing was.
Real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, it was. Now, where to mount this at?
Well, you kind of gotta see where you're sitting at. Like,
Okay, well let me
angle-wise.
reinstall my removable seat here. What's gonna feel right? So we got a brake pedal here. How far does it have to go to be wide open? Ooh. If you bolt it to the flat part up there, is it gonna have enough room to go down or no? Well, right now our shifter cable is right in the way, which we can't use this factory shifter. It actually was broke already. So we need to pull this shifter cable out of here for sure. Is threading out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, how are you even doing this?
It's a cable. I'm turning the other end of it.
There you go. You're out.
Out of there? Okay.
Yep.
Not going to the firewall?
I think it's gonna work or
I think
something.
it might.
Grab hold to it.
Took your boss. Something like that should be good, right?
Yeah.
We should angle it a little bit so it's closer over here.
If it's full throttle, is it gonna bottom out on the?
Well, I really don't know unless I hold.
Cause I'm gonna be needing to go full throttle now.
Oh, no doubt.
Don't you be holding me back.
Yeah, right there's full throttle, so if we mount right there, it'll go. If my calculations are correct, it should not hit the floor.
I'm not putting
Look
my
at
finger
that.
back
Right
there.
before it touches the floor, it's full throttle. So that should
works.
be perfect. Oh man, that's butter. It's really gonna be crazy when this thing's making like 500 horsepower
Oh yeah.
and you just give it a little bit and it's gonna be like, you know, jumpy. Yeah, that's the easiest pedal install I've ever done right there. Like it?
Yeah, it's super smooth. It's a lot smoother than I
And this
thought.
pedal actually normally sits down for you like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I love it.
This is like the perfect, like high and
Yeah, you like it?
yeah, like miniature. I don't
You're
even
cozy.
know,
You're
like-
too cozy.
You'll
Yeah.
fall asleep driving like that. Here's you a shot from the front on that throttle body and water pump deal. So you can see how much more tucked in that intake is than what we had on there. And this is gonna make it a lot easier for our hoses.
Oh, look at that thing, son.
On to our next upgrade. So these are some long tube stainless headers. These are Hooker Black Hearts. They were actually on sale. Poured it out really smooth inside there. Have the O2 sensor bung already in them, and I'm really hoping that they fit. So there's a lot of advantages to having a longer tube header like this. It's basically a function of the length of the tube. Obviously the flow and the diameter comes into some play, but the length of the tube is a scavenging effect. I can't really explain it all to you, but a set of headers like this versus a set of cast iron exhaust manifolds like this, see how short those are?
Yeah.
You're gonna pick up power and torque pretty much over the entire RPM band with a long tube header like this. They even came with new bolts.
Hey.
How convenient. We actually have a couple bolts we gotta get out of those heads, remember? Please fit.
Oh yeah, they're definitely. Oh,
Oh,
definitely going to.
Ralphie, you always think everything's gonna work. Oh, look at that.
Absolutely, sir.
They made it for our international harvester mounts, didn't they? Let's start a couple bolts in is all we need. They look so good on there, don't they?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
great. If these look good, it would really look good.
Yes, we'll
He's
get there.
trying to clean them up.
We'll clean them, don't worry.
This fit like really good.
They literally fit perfect. If you have a 72 International Metro Mite and you move your LS motor back 2 feet, these headers will fit perfect. See, they don't even sit down any lower than the transmission pan. They're actually about 2 inches higher, so we'll be good there. It looks like it's going to work out perfect with our cross member behind there. See how low our oil pan sticks down?
Yep.
Our new oil pan is going to fix that problem.
Awesome.
Are we going to be super lucky and both of them fit?
I hope so. Absolutely.
Oh, wait.
Come on.
We're close, but it's hitting this tube right here.
Hey, I mean, we got a few hammers.
Where is it hitting at?
Look, right here.
It is so close to bolting
Maybe.
up. If we cut a little bit out of this motor mount that's so wide, it would fit right down there. I need to mark where that's at. It's the very front tube. It's coming down and hitting right there. If we notch that, I think it's gonna fit.
We gonna torch that thing?
Yeah, buddy.
Dang, son.
It's like super thick metal.
Yeah, that is true.
So you wait till it looks like it's turning molten and then you hit the button. And that gives it more oxygen and blows through it. Woo.
We should grab
Every
it.
day.
We should grab it and put it in that bucket. of
Look,
water.
it's right down there.
Oh, it popped.
Be careful, don't drop it on yourself. Oh man, it's on fire. Did I not cut it enough?
It's like, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I think they fit now.
Woo!
Yeah. I'd rather cut them ugly motor mounts that are too wide anyway than to mess up these pretty headers. Oh, I guess we got like 3 broken bolts in here.
Oh,
All right,
yeah, we had
go for it, Ralph. There we go. Oh, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
Well, it fits everything. Between the camshaft, the headers, the intake, taking some accessories off because we're not running power steering, we're not running air conditioning. Obviously, our air intake system is going to be way more free-flowing than what was on it. We're definitely going to do ram air on this, 100% ram air. It ought to see a significant jump in power. A lot of times with these LS motors, if you do a healthy cam in one, you can make 100 horsepower more than what the stock did. And like I said, with all the other modifications we're doing, you had to put on a dyno, know for sure. From what I've seen though, at the crankshaft, you probably would make like 500 with this thing.
Plus, they have really big intake ports. Just stop.
Yeah. Well, it's getting late and we're gonna go in, but first we're gonna see how much this thing weighs because we gotta find out, right?
Yeah.
Who was right? Put your guess below.
You had 3,300. I had 36, right?
I think you can actually just roll the car up on them, but I'm scared, so I'm just gonna jack the car up real quick and throw them under it. I feel like I'm in like a 90s action movie, you know? They always had cases like this in the action movies.
You gotta like flip them.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I not do that epic
You
enough?
gotta flip them.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
So check these out. It's completely wireless scales. So it has like a handheld battery power controller here. They'll show what our weight is. Ellie really wants to know what it is. So it'll do up to 7,000 pounds. There's a part number on it. If you watch our fan mail episodes, you already know we got this because we mentioned it in that video. Left front, right here. This has been something I have wanted to own for like 15 years. Right front. And one really awesome thing is this is gonna show us weight bias even, like how much percentage is on the nose and on the back. When you move an engine back, you're usually trying to get closer to that 50-50 because a lot of times you're like 60-70% at least on the nose. I'd say with this one, the way it was probably at least 70% on the nose from the factory. I wish we would have had these before we started.
It's not looking too good for me.
Why do you think that?
Because it's already at, I thought it was going to be like a 2,000, but it's only at like 1,000.
Let's see what it says. Who's gonna be right? What is it?
37.
30?
Oh, I was right. 38. I said 38.
37, 38?
I said 38.
So you won?
Woo!
Okay. So how do we see the percentages front and rear? We actually have 45% on the front, 55% on the back. So we have more weight in the rear than we have in the front. I really didn't expect that. I thought it would still be front bias a little bit.
Well,
So it actually has more weight on the rear than the front right now.
probably because of the seats. and
Well,
the stuff
hey,
in-
we could put our seats where they go, you know. That would help, huh?
Yeah.
A little bit. What are we doing here, guys? We got exhaust manifolds that aren't going to be in there.
Water pump.
What's wrong with us? We also know we're going to have coolant in the front with a radiator. We're going to have a fan. So obviously it's going to get a little heavier than this.
Does that
Yeah.
help anything?
Barely. 45% front, 54% back.
It helped
It changed a
like
fraction of a percentage.
3/10.
What if I get in the driver's seat? 46% front weight bias.
Can I get in the passenger?
Sure.
I'm pretty light. Only like 100. Oh, this is
Whee!
comfy. Oh,
We're at 47% on the front now. We're getting closer.
man, this
So,
feels
and
good.
I mean, this is with 4 bus seats in the back. I thought you got the water pump out,
I did
bro.
not get the water
Come
pump.
on, man. This is science. So when the mirrors are gonna be in the front, 47.3% on the nose. We'll see once we get fluids and coolant and stuff in it. 5 or 6 quarts of oil in it up here towards the front, antifreeze and stuff. But then the transmission's gonna have a bunch of quarts in it. That's less than a new Mustang weighs. All right, well, we will see you guys tomorrow. Big thanks to Proform for their help with our channel, and go check them out, link in the description, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Shoo-whoop.
Well, I predicted it. I did get sick. It's actually 3 days later now. So I spent the last 3 days in a recliner or in the bed editing because, you know, I can't stop working. You know how the deal is. You got to keep this ball rolling. So we're back to work on this thing again now that I'm feeling better. I think we're going to get our shifter out and see where we can install it and show you how cool this thing is.
Woo! Woo!
So we're going to kind of be limited on where we can put it because of the cable configuration on aftermarket shifter versus this is a very compact shifter here. Like I don't know of another one anywhere that's small. We got a BandM Stealth Magnum Pro Stick shifter, I believe is what it's called. I think it's the same one that's in my Fairmont, except for it doesn't have the buttons on it. How cool is that, huh?
Oh, that's awesome.
Mom bought me one of these for my Starlet years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I like that style of shifter. And I also got the longest cable that BandM sells. So this is a 12-foot cable, I believe it was. I just wanted to get as many options as I could because I knew how far back this was going to sit. Hey, and I actually did look up while I was sick, and like a Porsche or a C8 Corvette, some rear engine cars, they're like 60% of weight on the back. So we're not quite as rear heavy as them, but there's some really fast cars that have a weight bias similar to this van right here.
Yeah. This is definitely gonna go right here.
Well, there's a problem with that. This is where the cable comes out. I mean, these cables can't make a super tight turn, you know what I'm saying? Let's stick the cable on the shifter. That'll give us a better idea of where it can and can't go. This is the longest shifter cable I've ever owned. The factory shifter cable is really long on this thing. I don't know if it goes on the inside or outside. Instructions, who needs them? Look at all the brackets and stuff that come with it. So this is, I believe, the one we need here. It's for the GM. I think that's maybe a Chrysler one there. I don't know. They got them for all different transmissions. Oh, there's our shifter cover. These are what holds it in. So, see, we got a cable, so we can't just put it right here, because we'll have a huge cable in our way. It's so weird because we're on the wrong side of the vehicle for what we're used to. So normally our shifter would be on this side. But with this one being right-hand drive, I guess the standard place would be this side.
Right here?
Well, I mean, it would work, but we want it down that low?
No.
And we can put it up higher. You can put it mounted off of this somehow, maybe.
So you just have to watch out for your doghouse then.
Yeah, we don't know what shape the doghouse is going to be or anything
Do you
yet.
screw it to there?
Huh. It's so cool looking, isn't it, though?
Looks awesome.
The natural way would be right here, but that's not really an option.
You can't mount on the doghouse because it'd have to come off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole doghouse situation kind of messes things up, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What if we mount it to the seat frame? What if you made a big heavy bracket that comes out here and it bolts to the seat frame itself? And it's right here.
I put it a little forward.
Well, that would be okay if you'd never took that seat out, right?
Why would we take the driver's seat out? We can't drive without it.
The passenger seat would be the one you want to take out, so the engine could just go out anyways, right? You just leave the driver's seat in there.
So if you put it right there, you can shift it right here, and that would be super comfortable. We should do that.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
I agree.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
All right, let's see what metal we got to do that. While I'm working on mounting that shifter, why don't y'all mount Mom's mirrors back up? Have they ever been on the van?
No.
Never?
When we bought it, they were off.
Our mirrors, the glass doesn't even match each other.
And this is broke.
Yeah, it's all messed up. But the brackets seem good. And Mom's got on the internet, and look at what she's bought. She got them stainless steel West Coast mirrors
That's right.
with the ridges in the back. So if y'all want to make these fit those, you're going to have to widen your brackets out because she picked a bigger mirror than what it was.
Oh my gosh.
It's stuck out there, ain't it?
Yeah.
So the leftover piece of metal that we made that seat frame out of is exactly the right length to mount the shifter to. It's like the same exact length almost as the frame. But it sticks out a little too far. There's no reason for it to be out that far. So I'm going to cut 3 inches or so off of here, and then I'll weld it to this seat frame.
It flexed a little too much.
Oh, I reckon she did. Now, you can't do that when you put my new ones on.
Gotcha.
We're moving.
We might gotta hit this with a little stick ski.
Yeah. I think if you go to sleepobtain.com, use code SLEEPDUDE, get 5% off your order. Get some of that skate.
Well, did you get your spark loose?
Yeah, it was really stuck, so.
Good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't cut yourself. And don't scratch up my mirrors on that one now.
I'll try not to.
Oh wow, looking good.
Somewhere. Okay.
This is literally crazy. Look at this. It's like I have to hold this in order for it to loosen up at all.
It's crusty, rusty.
Yeah, it's bad. Oh, wow. Alright.
There we go. Got our plates, the same thickness. Should be about the right width. Let's melt it in there. Think that'll work, Marge?
Looks good to me.
I think so. It'll hold the shifter up at least.
Surely.
Did you say Shirley?
Surely.
All right, I just gotta drill some holes. That should be just about right where it'll get it off of us a little bit, forward as much as possible. Don't you think, Marge?
Looks good to me.
You're the race car driver, not me. This may be the coolest shifter mount I've ever made.
Absolutely.
The fact that it like mounts to the seat frame. It's so different than what I'm used to. I always bolt to the floor. I don't think I've ever done one that wasn't bolted to the floor. But when the floor is like, 3 feet below you, it's kind of hard to do that. It'll be like that right there. Oh, it's so cool looking.
So cool. Those were a booger get.
They were
off
really
and
bad.
on,
They were really bad. I mean, it looks a lot better than it did, so.
For sure. This is gonna up the horsepower by at least 10.
The horse pieces?
What?
Which I reckon.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How'd you get this in?
It goes like that, doesn't it? Now rotate it out where it goes. We gotta have it out there.
You gotta hold it there. Where's the screw?
Down there.
I'm holding shifter pieces
He
in my
wasn't
hand.
prepared for this. This thing has never looked better.
Got them West Coast mirrors now, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man, I can see the future and the past and the present and all through this. Can you see up there? Look at that, Todd.
Looks great.
Man, that is substantial is what that is. We just have to get it set in the right spot and tighten them down.
I'll work on that.
Work it out.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty good. Considering. Look at it. You just look at it. Looks good.
It needed them, didn't it?
It
I
really
did. Look
did.
at it. Look at that girl. That was better.
Mom's all about her mirrors.
I love big mirrors.
For some reason.
Hey, what about this right here?
Looking good. We've already accomplished a bunch tonight.
We have, look at that.
Does it feel good on there?
I ain't got enough voice to make engine noises. You're in
Oh,
first.
I gotta get used to it.
Oh, sorry.
He did it backwards on that. Did you hear that?
I heard that. I like
I
that.
think you're down.
Man, those mirrors are spot on. Spot on, Mom. We've never seen it with the mirrors on it.
No.
It's like a big set of ears sticking out there.
Not to be a
I could name a couple folks right now. We won't. Okay. Now we got engine things to do. We could do all this in the car, I guess, but we really need to clean the engine and everything. So
Yeah.
we really need to pull the engine back out. This is still a mock-up transmission, so it's not like it's in there permanently anyway. We're gonna pull the engine back out, get our chem kit in there, get our oil pan on it.
Woo! Woo!
Sir shifts a lot. I'm gonna need you to get out so we can pull this engine out, okay?
You're down.
The shifter goes with it. That's great. With this shifter cable, it ought to be able to reach whatever.
I don't know how you just did that. I just struggled with
That's
that.
pulling the bolt out.
You didn't lift up on the seat.
We need to take this out too so it's not in our way. All right, here you go, Ralphie. Please don't drop it. Got it?
Yep.
All right, put it safely somewhere. There you go, bud. Ralphie's like so jealous of him. He keeps talking about his F-150 and wanting headers for it.
I'm gonna buy me some.
I can't believe how easy they were to get in there.
That was surprising. It's probably the easiest set of headers we've put on something.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not very tight in there.
Headers are usually a real pain. Pull back harder, harder. I gotta get this pin there. There you go. There you go.
You're welcome.
Y'all got it ready to pull?
I got two.
Almost 2 minutes out.
You and Mom are best friends. No, oh, you got me again. You're just like Scooter. You sneak some in there. You think you're a safe range and you're not. Look at the little gas thing.
I tell you, this thing is cool.
I'm gonna unbolt the transmission from here. I'm gonna try to leave the cross member in place because it's easier just to take it loose from here. There you go. How'd that work? She's always trying to figure everything out, isn't she?
Yeah, she watches everything.
This thing's so low, we have to jack the front end up to get the engine hoist under the leaf springs in the back. There.
There you
That didn't take too long to pull, huh?
go. No.
Well, it isn't pulled yet.
Oh, well, thank you. Captain Obvious. You got all the motor mounts out, right? Right, see if it'll slide straight forward. Good there?
Yeah.
Are we out from under the crosswinder now? Next time we're putting this in, we're gonna put it in for Riceville.
Thank the good Lord.
Now can we rotate it? It looks like I can bring it this way. See if you can swing the front of the engine. Oh! Okay.
Try to catch the transmission.
Yeah, turn it where it'll come out the door.
Oh, it's scary, 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 scary. The transmission's hitting the thing.
Oh, that hurt my leg.
There you go. It's easy once you've done it before, huh?
Right?
If I ever watch them mirrors, I'll be in trouble.
You better not scratch my mirrors up.
Alright, going down, guys. We're just gonna pull the transmission off and set it on the engine stand. It just make all this a lot easier for us. So this is just a mock-up 4L60E we bought for $100. We're waiting on a rebuilt one still.
There went your toe.
The engine was more front heavy than I thought. I should have had the chains holding up better, huh?
There you go.
Alright, go up a little bit, Ralphie. Don't be too tall. What was the last thing on this engine stand? Dodge?
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, my foot's cramping.
Your foot's cramping.
Oh, I moved it up and it like, that's what it did. It's like,
Have you ever been in a pool and it did that?
oh, it's awful.
It's the worst
The
ever.
worst
You're like,
ever.
These are not a 3/8 bolt, even though they feel like a 3/8 will thread in. It's a 10 millimeter by 1.5, so it's slightly bigger. Don't mess up and put 3/8 in there. And it's not looking like we have bolts the right length for this hefty boy engine stand here. We may have one here, that'll work. Now we just need like 3 more.
do we need more than one?
Yeah, we need more than one bolt in it, yes. We're scrounging together lug nuts and bolts are a little too long. Takes 3 different sockets to tighten it down, but finally got 4 bolts in there. Off the show, Ralphie. Got it? There we go. Hopefully the bolt's home. There you go. All right, let's do a health check on this motor. We've never seen inside of it. So if it's caked up with nasty stuff in here, it hasn't been taken as good care of. If all this looks clean in here, it's good news. Hey, what's that red color? I've never seen that before. It's like coated red.
Transmission fluid in our oil.
That's funny, isn't it?
These are so skinny.
Yeah, they're beehive springs. I'm assuming you're gonna want to clean those up, huh?
Yes.
You've been talking about it the whole time. They're not stuck down very hard. That's funny. They look like they're almost painted, don't they?
Yeah.
This is one of the improvements they made from the small block Chevy. The reason why the valve cover is so shallow is they moved the pan rail up. If your valve cover rail is really low, it sits in oil all the time and it can leak. The higher it is, the oil level's below the gasket, and then it doesn't leak as much.
I was kind of confused on it.
Pull our rockers off because they're in the way of getting the head bolts out. And the reason why we have to pull the heads is to put the lifters in. Unfortunately, the ZLS engine, you got to pull the heads to change lifters, which I don't really like that part of it. If you didn't know, these share almost identical bolt pattern to a Windsor Ford engine. So they got 4 head bolts per cylinder. So they're set up basically the same way. But if you want to learn about LS motors, you can go to the same source I got it from. You can go to Sloppy Mechanics YouTube channel. He's basically the, what do you call it, Tosh? The OG?
OG.
Yeah, so he was doing this pretty much before everybody was and telling everybody how to do it. Learn from trial and error. So go to his channel, check him out.
Oh, wow, Ralph.
So you can pick the whole pedestal off there like that. So it has its own little tray. It's pretty cool. And like LS3 heads, they have an offset rocker on every other one. When we did the LS3 and the GTO and the Starlet, we learned that stuff. And there's basically 3 types of ports for the LS engine. There's Cathedral, which is the original. Then there's LS7, which are up higher and more squared off. And then there's LS3, which is more squared off down low. But the LS7s aren't super common. LS3 flows more, but these will pretty much match its performance up until like, I think it's like 4,500 RPM or so. If you're not planning on revving the guts out of it, you can do really good with the Cathedral port. So our kit comes with push rods, so we're planning on using them. I would like to know what oil they use to make all this turn red. Let me know in the comments if you know. Marble? You think they put marble in it? Maybe they did. This is our factory knock sensors, which we will not be using. Ralphie informed me we have 2 of them. Look at all like stuff that's gunked up around it. This is how it's supposed to look over here. I don't know if that's oil or coolant or what's down there. This is the biggest limiting factor to these engines is the head gasket sealing. In my experience, you're good until you get to around 18 to 20 pounds of boost. And depending on what type of head bolt you have and what kind of head gasket you have, you start pushing coolant, putting pressure in the cooling system after that point. It's just the fact that they don't really have enough head bolts. Some guys go up to a 1/2-inch stud, like a copper gasket or something like that, and get more out of them. And there's guys making a lot of boost with stock bolts and stuff, but it's kind of a roll of the dice once you hit close to 20 pounds of boost. On this motor, that's like 1,200 horsepower though, so. They got these funny little 10mm bolts in here. I really don't know what their job is, or if they really have a job or not. Okay, here we go. Might drop a bunch of coolant here, I don't know. My nose is stopped up, I can still smell that dirty oil smell or whatever they have. Okay, what's hiding in here? Well, we have 4 pistons. They're a little bit dish top, which is what they should be. The only thing that had a flat top piston that I know of was the 4.8s had a flat top piston, and the L33 aluminum 5.3, like in your Yukon. They have flat top pistons as well. It's not too super heavy, they're aluminum.
That is so light.
Yeah, this is the 317 heads, which you can put these on a 4.8 or 5.3, drop down the compression ratio, but I really wouldn't recommend it. They don't flow that well on a 5.3 because they have a bigger valve, and the smaller bore diameter shrouds it a little bit.
It's just got junk from sitting.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever tore down a fuel injector motor that had a ridge at the top of the cylinder. But every carbureted motor you take apart has a big ridge at the top.
Why?
I think it's because all the excess fuel, like starting it with a choke on, pumping the gas, it washes out the rings and this is harder on the bores. That's my theory at least. All right, we got 8 pistons with no holes in them. That's good. We got 16 valves. We got multi-layered steel head gaskets because I've heard some of them had paper gaskets. Here's another fun fact. Some of the early 6-liter truck motors had cast iron cylinder heads. Well, I don't see anything that scares me so far. Ralphie, why don't you get a caliper and we'll make sure it's standard bore. All right, what's the official measurement, doctor? 3.97?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's standard bore. These are actually 4-inch bore, so we're probably picking up on a little of that crud at the top is all. These are the lifter trays that they go in. If you spin the motor over, it's supposed to catch the lifters up in the trays. You can pull them out. See, it's just a plastic tray. So we're going to be putting new lifters in. We don't know the mileage on this motor, do we?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember being told the mileage at least. If it's out of an SUV, you know how it is. They get like 200,000 miles in the first couple of years. Lifters are not wanting to come out easy. Yeah, it's got some miles on it.
Come on.
Here, let me see it though. Well, it really is stuck, isn't it?
Yeah.
None of them want to come out. Like old flat tappet lifters, If they got really wore out like the Malibu was, if you remember, it'll mushroom one. Which these have a roller tip, so it shouldn't do that. They'll mushroom one, and then you won't be able to get them out from the top. You have to push them through. All right, there's one. Yeah, it must have just had enough residue and junk on it, didn't want to come out. So since we're replacing them, we don't really care which holes they came out of. LS motors, it's kind of common too to have like a lifter tick issue, so it's a good idea to put new lifters in one if you're gonna have a part like this. Some of them are being really stubborn. There we go.
Is it about your bedtime? Are you sleepy?
She don't know you're talking to her.
You ready to go inside?
She knew what that was.
She said, yeah.
But I can still see the crosshatch where they honed it from the factory. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Tear down the engine, it's probably got 200,000 miles on it, still has a crosshatch in it. I got 4 lifters on this side, no, 5 on this side. I do not want to work with me. I got all that side out. Finally. So that's the best way to get them out, I guess, if you don't worry about them, is clamp on the side. I was trying for a while clamping this way, and it seemed to be doing better if you got there and twist them. Phew, that was a pain. Whew. Get some rusty water.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna end it off here for tonight. We got the whole top end apart. Hey, we got our shifter mounted too, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was
And our
cool.
mirror.
And the mirrors. So we'll come back at this tomorrow, tear the bottom end down, see what's hiding in this oil pan, pull the stock cam out. So far, so good. Looks like my buddy did good for me, huh?
Yeah.
My buddy Michael.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Shoo up.
All right, early the next morning, we're back out here. Ralphie wants to see if there's any oil left in this thing. We can't remember if we drained it already or not. We're about to find out. Do you think we drained it, Ralph?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it looks like we drained it. See, a little bit in it. We need to eventually get one of those drain pans that wraps around the engine stand, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull this pan off here and I'll show you the difference in our new pan and the old one. These are all 10 millimeter.
I feel like it was easier to pull this out of this car than like a normal car.
Yeah, with the doorway exit.
Yeah.
See, these are big long bolts. It's weird in the way they're set up. The oil filter's built into the oil pan. This is an exit for your cooler, which you can feed turbos from there or whatever, but it's just strange. It makes it really a pain to change oil filters because you can't get your hand around it. I think that's the last bolt back here. Are you just gonna fall off there? Are we gonna pry you off there? Oh man, did I miss a bolt?
Still got a bolt somewhere.
I don't see any other bolts.
What is this one?
Where? Oh, okay, I missed one over here. As long as that one bolt Dad missed, right?
Yeah.
Oh. These engines are basically O-ring gaskets everywhere. A lot of times you can reuse them, so just be careful when you take stuff off. Let's see what's in here. I don't see anything in there. It's scary. I don't see any like big chunks of anything. I forgot these have a factory windage tray and you can't see the rods. So this is a Holley retrofit pan. I think it's part number 302-2 from memory. So look how much less room that takes up.
It's a lot shorter.
I think we gained about 4 inches on the bottom and 4 inches on the top between our intake swap and our oil pan swap. Look how shallow that is.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference right there. Which we don't have any cross members in the way on this vehicle, but you know, if you did have cross members, that would really help there. The big thing we needed was ground clearance because of how low it sits. It also comes with this baffle that goes in there. Looks like all the hardware you need, our block off plate for our sending unit over here, and a pickup tube. So a common problem with LS motors is the oil pump pickup tube O-ring getting like hard and flattened out or cracked, and they start losing oil pressure, especially when the oil is thick. So I see it comes with a new O-ring in there, so that's a good sign. Granny is so interested in just engine building. She probably remembers back when they was building the Model T motors and stuff. So, you know. You can sniff in there. Granny, it's just plastic. It's nothing for you. The block off plate, the oil filter adapter, the gasket is all genuine GM stuff. It comes with this Holley kit, so that's cool.
Yeah.
The good stuff. Looks like it already has like sealer on the threads. So I'm gonna thread this guy in here. So our oil filter will have somewhere to screw to. It's a 15/16. So we're putting our block off plate on here because we're not running an oil cooler or anything. You can actually drill and tap these and feed oil pressure out to something, or a lot of companies make adapters where you have like a 1/8" pipe thread fitting there. Usually that's how I'd feed the turbos, is from there. There's also a spot at the top of the block at the back, just like a small block Chevy is. According to the instructions, we've got to make some modifications to our windage tray because of how short this is here. Right there, is that it?
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? Oh, if this side got to go down first. Man, finally figured it out. All right, we got to put some Loctite on them because we don't want them to come out. There you go. Here, hand me one. Don't hog the bolts, bro. So this is just to help make sure that the pickup tube keeps oil around it and hard cornering and accelerating and stuff. It's a good thing we got this because there ain't no way it was going to make it through the Kmart parking lot over those speed bumps with Mom driving without doing this. Ooh. Was that it?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, Ralphie, that's like a 10mm right there that holds that pickup tube in. There's a lot of things with the LS motors that was a big upgrade for the small block Chevy. I mean, it has a factory windage tray. It has 6-bolt main caps. It has a skirted block that goes all the way down to the bottom of the mains.
Did you say skirt?
I said skirt, yes. See how loose that is in there? If you get any kind of air in there, it's not gonna have good oil pressure, especially when the motor is like cold with thick oil. Our last truck, we had to run oil that had a really low first number, like 0W something or 5W something. See how that O-ring is flat on the edge? That's what happens is over time they get hard and they flatten out and they don't seal up. This is a really common problem with them. I've had it on multiple LS engine I've had. It's not broke or anything. Look at that, see that? It just cracked. So these are a really common failure point. If you ever have the pan off, replace the O-ring and get a good one. We want to go ahead and look at the rods in here. Crank and make sure everything's good before we put it all together. I believe that is Gen 4 rods is what I'm looking at. See, the rods look chunkier and wider than what the Gen 3 looks like. So this got the better rods in it, which I thought it might going off of its year. So what we have here is like a crossover year. So it's got a 24X reluctor wheel, but it's got the Gen 4 rods, which usually goes with 58X reluctor wheel. We also have the Gen 3 style knock sensors in the lifter valley instead of the ones on the side of the block. We also have the Gen 3 style cam sensor in the back instead of in the front. So this is kind of a crossover year. So we have the good rods, but we have the old style electronics on it is basically what we have here, which is perfectly fine. But see, Ralphie, this is the main cap. It goes all the way to the edge, and it bolts from here just like an old Hemi would have. Super stout block, super stout mains, a really good side of these motors right here. Now we're looking for Rodney. We don't want Uncle Rodney to come knocking, okay? So I'm not gonna pull the caps. I'm not gonna go that far into it. We don't wanna let the magic out or anything. But if we got a wiggly rod, then we know we got too much rod clearance. Well, there's our health check. If we would have got this from somebody different, I would probably pull caps and stuff. The guy I got it from, I've been buddies with for like 20-something years, so I'm not worried about him selling me a bad motor. Cut to the video where we started. Now you gotta pull the timing cover and pull the stock cam out of it. Look at that bad boy. It's a beast, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want a snack? Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, you about got my fingers. That's a good snack. Right here. Right here. Yeah, there you go. These are good girls. Rootin' and tootin' swinging that tail. That's a pretty face. All right, y'all be good.
I'm gonna heat this up a little bit just so it comes off easier. There's little flat spots on there to grab it on the inside. I need like a different end on this really. I don't have exactly the right puller to do this. I'm having to rely on the bolt to push it out really. I ended up setting a lug nut in there at the end to give me something to push off of. I really need like a big pointed tip puller is what I need.
Oh, it's scared.
Look at all the things you can clean.
Oh, what? Oh, you got it again.
Okay, there's the inside of our timing cover. This is your oil pump here, and that's your timing set. A little loosey-goosey, a little
I
bit.
always want that.
Yeah, you always want it to be a little bit loose. Man, that just don't want to stay on there, does it? Okay, yeah, so you can't spin the oil pump on an LS motor with like a drill or anything because it runs literally off the crankshaft turning. So you have to turn the motor over to prime the oil system unless you make a pressurized tank and push it in through the inlet I was showing you earlier. I really hadn't thought about the oil pump. I might should have bought one. So yeah, there's how your oil pump drives off these gears. Just spins right inside there.
Let's go.
Yep, that's the gear it spins off of.
Again.
How many times are we gonna do that? That socket don't want to stay on there. All right, now you gotta take that lock plate off. So that's what retains the cam in place, and you can see you got a seal here that you don't want to mess up. First LS motor I ever did, I messed up. I put all this stuff in like diesel fuel or kerosene or whatever it was, and it ruined every O-ring. And it's like $300 or $400 for those gaskets. So we're gonna put this back on here now so we have something to grab the cam by. Right, Ralpho?
Yeah.
Yeah, screw that in there. Get this bad boy out of here.
Just want to figure out if it's a chop.
Chop, I think it already had the chop.
I want to say no.
I think the only time that's ever happened was the engine that we put in that Galaxy. Remember we pulled the cam out, it was already a big cam.
Oh, it was?
I don't want to hurt the cam bearings. Trying to be easy with this. See, they have a lot bigger cam core size than a small block Chevy does, which is really nice. It's really chunky in the center. There you go. That's your trigger wheel for your cam sensor right there. So hopefully our new cam has that, right? The Gen 3 picks it up here. The Gen 4 picks it up off the front right here. All right, let's open our cam kit. It's MK54-702-11. Link in the description. So we got a comp cams cam kit here. Should have everything we need. So we got a camshaft, we got new lifters, retainers, locks, timing set, push rods, valve springs. The thing I like about doing a cam kit is there's no guesswork in like, do I have the right springs for my cam, stuff like that.
All like made for each other.
Yes, that's why I usually go for the kit because it has everything you need. Look at this bad boy. Here's the specs for you nerds. 226, 237 at 50 thousandths, 113 lobe separation angle, and it's 541, 539 lift. Now they make a higher lift version of this. I chose to go with a little bit lower lift version. This is in their Thumper cam series, so this thing ought to have some nice chop. Exactly, which is what we're looking for. Yeah, it's got the wheel on there to pick up the cam sensor.
Dang, son.
Look like a piece of jewelry, isn't it?
Look at them lobes, son.
Wider and taller than factory. That's what you want right there.
Yeah.
Looks to be built. Look how it's all machined.
Yeah.
Stuff like Granny's like, I love big camshafts. There you go, give it a sniff. So before we throw that cam in though, we want to clean this up a little bit. We're probably not going to clean all of it up, but I'd like to get some of this stuff cleaned up that we can. We also need to go ahead now and figure out about our windage tray with our pickup and oil pan. I think we got to cut it. You don't want to put brand new parts in the motor when you may still have to cut and grind and do nasty stuff around it. You don't want that stuff getting in there with your new parts. That should bolt right up without any problem, it looks like. So the only issue is going to be, she's got roll paper towels in her mouth. Why does she like eating paper towels? Come on, Granny.
Easy to chew.
So will this go in here without any modifications?
It's nice.
It is nice, isn't it? No, see, it says you got to remove the front of the windage tray to make this fit. Looks like they were right, huh?
And again. No.
Come on, Granny, work with us, not against us.
Why do we need that tray?
A windage tray basically catches all the oil that's getting slung around everywhere, keeps it from continuing to sling around, and it makes some power from not having all that. You know, it's like running in water versus running. So from here forward, we're gonna have to cut that windage tray off.
Wash off.
So it looks like it's about even with the second bolt, huh?
Wash off.
Probably just in front of these, right?
Yeah.
Our marker does not mark on this. Oh, you see that? That'd be death to the engine. All right, Ralphie, is it gonna fit this time?
Yes.
Think so?
Maybe.
Looks like it fits to me.
Yeah, it's down on everyone.
Okay. So that's what you gotta do. You just gotta take that front section out of there. We gotta clean our head surface and stuff.
I'd say we do that first.
Yeah, I think we should leave this off for now. We might as well wire wheel the top of our pistons too, you know? So we've tilted the engine over to where hopefully, basically everything will fall down instead of into the motor. I just had to clean this carbon off here. It looks awful. Ralphie's got his razor blade getting our gasket surface cleaned up. Well, after a bunch of work, we got all our piston tops cleaned up. We got our block surface for our cylinder heads cleaned up on both sides as well. Looking like a brand new quarter, I guess you would say, on these. So I think we can go ahead and put our windage tray back on. Wawa has woke up from her deep slumber. She's here to help now. This will go on right here. Now, it's hard for me not to take one all the way down to nothing. And I just naturally like to gap rings and, you know, put bearings in and stuff like that. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's what Tosh told me.
Exactly right.
We sprayed our camshaft off here, made sure it didn't have any loose particles on there, and we're gonna oil this thing up. This being a roller cam, you'd probably be just fine to put just oil on it, but I tend to try like the pasty kind. Yeah, we just need it on the lobes and the bearings, not in between everything.
Okay.
Just like Sloppy Mechanic says, don't look at your cam bearings, okay? It's a rule with LS motors. Just don't look at them and you don't have to worry about it. Ralphie, I see where you're looking, son. So we're gonna throw this bad boy in there. You think it'll sound as good as the Gremlin?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it'll sound good.
I mean, we have a lot of cars that sound good around here. The Galaxy, the Gremlin, this motor's going to, and all of them have comp cams in them. I'm just gonna use the gear for the timing chain to put this thing in. They make fancy install tools, but I've never owned one. Now, the big thing is you wanna make sure it spins freely, and it does. Because I've put them in before, especially with a motor you replace cam bearings and them not spin freely. That's a bad deal.
Didn't that happen on the motorhome when we had something wrong?
Yeah. Since we're reusing our old seal, I smeared a little bit of RTV on it. We're gonna reinstall our cam lock plate. We got some thread locker on the bolts because I usually do that with any internal engine bolts because if they back out, you know.
Not a good day.
Not a good day, yeah. Real quick way to ruin a party right there. If you're putting an LS motor in something, you should at least put a cam and valve springs in it because it makes such a big difference in how they run. Ralph, you tell me when I'm at spec here.
Yeah.
That's, oh, right there. That's the torque spec.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Check out our fancy adapter here to where we can pull our crank gear off of here. Woo! With our timing set, we're using a billet double roller timing chain set from Comp. Look, you can see it's all made in the USA. Even cast into it there. So this gives you the option of going 8 degrees retarded or 8 degrees advanced. We're gonna install it straight up because I'm not fancy. In order to do that, we put our crank keyway at 0 and then we put our pointer at 0. So Ralphie, right there is 0. And here's our oil pump drive. We're gonna knock all this on there real quick. I've actually never put a double roller chain in an LS motor.
What's a double roller chain?
Yeah, you got 2 gears instead of 1. If you look at our factory cam gear, see it's got twice as much chain to grab. So the chain stretches less, it has more strength, and especially if you had like a solid roller cam with a lot of spring pressure, that would be more and more important. It's even got a bearing built into it there. It's really cool. All right, let's get our chain on here. Where's our 0 mark? It should be a dot right there. Right there is pointing at 0. Our dot is lined up with our 0. Our bolt holes are lined up. That should be good. All right, once again, I put a little bit of Loctite on this so we don't have nothing backing out.
Yeah.
She don't care who it is. She rub up against anybody. Anybody.
That stuff is thick.
We have people coming up that are like delivering stuff. She'll be all up in their business.
No shame.
I'm gonna put some assembly lube on this chain here. Give it a little lubrication.
It's the oily stuff.
Yeah, that stuff sticks, don't it?
Stringing.
As with anything with the engine, we're gonna spin it over and see if it will turn over free still. You want to do, is that what I'm seeing here?
Yes.
Feel like it's rubbing anything?
No.
Feels good?
Yeah, feels good.
Okay. Man, that is stringy stuff there. It's like the Ninja Turtles pizza.
Oh, wait, look, watch it down there.
Oh, look, that's like the Lucas Oil thing. Look at that. I like that.
Has to be good.
Has to be. As long as we clear our timing cover, we'll be fine. Well, the very next step is putting our oil pump on, and I really don't want to throw the old oil pump in it. And I should have already had it here, but I didn't think enough ahead of time, I guess. But they got it in stock at the parts store. It just happens to be lunchtime, so we're gonna go get that, and we'll come back and throw this timing cover on.
Woo! Woo!
So Wall is driving me to town, me and Ralphie. Mom couldn't handle it, so she stayed at the house. She just got her permit this week, and this is the first day she's got to drive. So this is her very first time driving out on the public highway system.
So weird. I feel really, really like stressed right now.
You'll be just fine. You got plenty of practice in the yard. And now it's raining. And this is a big difference between making videos and working on your own car. If you're just working on your own stuff and not videoing it, this doesn't matter. It's just noise.
Yeah.
But one thing I've learned, you can't film a YouTube video with it raining on the building. So since we can't video right now, me and Ralph are going to get the heads and go ahead and put the new valve springs, retainers, locks, seals, and we'll show you guys the last one when the weather clears up. Well, we've been cleaning for a long time now. We got our gasket surfaces done. Now, before we put springs in, I want to make sure we can get these studs out of here. So we got, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them here. So I'm going to show Ralph how to pull them out real quick. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put a nut over that, weld it to it, and then try to back it out. And the combination of having a nut to grab hold of and the heat should be able to back it out.
Woo!
Think it'll work, Ralph?
Maybe.
These are 7/16 nuts. Maybe it'll back out. Oh, it broke off again. Oh, man.
How are you gonna get that out?
I don't know. This is exactly why I wanted to do it beforehand. That one back out? Feels like it is. Getting hiccups? See, that's the way it's supposed to work right there.
Will we just not run one in that hole?
No, we gotta run one. I'll have to drill it out, I guess.
Drill on top of it?
Yeah. It's a pretty good method for getting them out right here. There you go. See, it just pulls the whole threads and everything out. And that one came out. Another one. So just the very first one, the only one that didn't. So I got one to drill out. Okay, well, hours and hours later, I'm down to my last two here. I want to show you how this process works. We actually tested our springs here. So this is the stock springs, and this is the comp springs here. You can see that the spring is a little bit thicker coil in there. And these springs have 304 pounds of pressure at 1.25 inches. So that's like open pressure. And 92 pounds at 1.8 inches. So we actually put them in our Proform spring tester here and checked them versus the stock ones. So on open pressure, when the valve's open, these have about 40 more pounds of pressure on them. So it'll help control the valve at higher RPMs. This thing is kind of super handy. I've always wanted one of these. Thank you to Proform. Appreciate their help. So I'm going to take a 18 millimeter socket here. All you need is just one bigger than your keepers. And we're going to take these two out. Just smack it really hard. Try to catch the pieces if they come out. That's the quickest way to take them apart. The hardest thing is keeping up with your keepers. And yes, it's still raining on and off all day today. There's other keep. There they are. So there's our keepers. We have brand new keepers, retainers, locks, valve stem seals, the whole deal. All right, there you go. So super easy to take them off. It's my favorite way to do it. Now, you couldn't do that if you had super stiff springs. So then we're going to pry our old valve stem seals out of here, and they actually come with like a shim built in. It's really kind of cool. Look at all that gunk under there, Ralph. Isn't that gross?
Yeah.
Most of them have been gunked up like that. So I'm going to pull this other one out, toss them. They're no good to anybody. Look at all that trash that's underneath them. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like sludge and grit and junk. I've been trying to clean all this as we go. We don't want to spread all this junk around everywhere. Now we should be able to pop the valves out, which they got like build up on them, so they're kind of hard to pull out at the end. Right there. Because I just can't help myself, I've been lapping all the valves in as we go, because I know a lot of people probably wouldn't go through that step, but I'm always worried about valve seal. See, some of these are really stuck with the gunk on the valve stems. Okay, your exhaust valves are always going to look worse on the seat than your intake. So if we clean the seat off here, you still see kind of a shiny edge in there. Well, look at your exhaust. If you're going to burn a valve, in my experience, it's always been on the exhaust side. You'll see how it looks black and pitted and stuff. That's what we're going to try to fix here. If you clean the valve seat off itself, you can see the intake still looks really nice. The intake wouldn't worry me at all, but look, even when you clean this off, you've still got a pitted up, nasty looking seat on the exhaust side. So I'm going to take a little bit of valve lapping compound or valve grinding compound, whatever you want to call it, and dab it on there. I have no formal engine building training, so I really don't know how much you should use. Pop that in there. And the way I do it, now they make like a suction cup thing with a wood handle, and you put it on the valve face and you spin it. I've always just used a drill. So you don't want to overdo it, especially with this intake is not being that bad. Basically spin it, try to get that, you can hear that lapping compound working in there. All right, pop it back out of there, and we'll clean it off and see what it looks like, which it already looked pretty good, so I'm not too worried about it. But you should see a little bit wider contact area there. You don't want to overdo this. You just want it to seal up good, because you don't want to totally ruin your valve job. Because these are different angles in here. So like the more racy a cylinder head is, the more angles it usually has. Like some race heads have like a 5-angle valve job, and only one of those angles actually seals up the combustion process. The other ones are just to basically make a round surface for it to flow good going in and out of there. Now the tough one, the exhaust side, it's going to take a little more aggression here. I'm going to goop it up a little more than the intake one. I was taught this method by a dirt track racer. It used to be my neighbor. I've just always done it my whole life. I've been having to go over these exhaust ones twice usually, because the first time hasn't been enough. We still got pitting there, so I'm going to do it again. Now the best thing you could do here would be to take it to a machine shop, have them do a fancy valve job on it, and it'd all be perfect. It would probably flow a little better over the seat than what I'm doing here, but I pretty much hate going to machine shops because I've had terrible luck with it. There you go. So we got most all of our pitting's gone now. We got a lot better surface. That's good enough for who it's for.
And what they're paying.
Exactly. I'm going to clean all this valve grinding compound out now. Make sure we don't have any of that, because that's just like metal paste. That's the last thing you want in your engine. See how nice the valve seat looks now? It's not black. It's not pitted. Very nice. Now we got our valves cleaned up and our seats. I'm going to take a little bit of assembly lube and put on the valve stem here just to give it some lubrication on startup. Then we're going to put on our new valve stem seal. So there's a blue pack here and like a brown pack. Best I can tell, the brown one goes on the exhaust side and the blue one goes on the intake side. So I believe the brown one is made for higher heat. I like how that's set up, because basically the valve stem seal cannot come off as long as the valve spring is on. Alright, we got our new springs now and our retainers. They make tools specifically for LS where you can bolt down here and pry over and push these down, but I have this tool here I use on basically anything I work on. We're going to push the new springs and retainer down to there. Take our new locks.
Either dab
Yep. So the grease kind of holds it onto the valve stem, and usually I'll take like a little pocket screwdriver and help it in there like that. Then we're gonna get our other half in here. See, oh, the retainer kind of push it right into place. Let up. Then I bop it with a hammer. Make sure it's seated good. And that one's done. And we're gonna move on to the next one. Do the same thing again. Okay, that's in there. Okay, give it a bop. There you go. Our heads are assembled. Well, it still hasn't stopped raining, so we're gonna have to wait for that to quit so you guys can actually hear what we're doing. I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, the rain has finally stopped. It's the next day. We're gonna start putting this together. We think we got everything cleaned up as good as it needs to be. I did get a new oil pan gasket and timing cover gasket. I was gonna reuse the old ones. The oil pan gasket actually rivets to the old oil pan. I don't want to drill that off. And also ours, I found out was broke. So I was like, okay, get a new one. These are expensive though. It's like, what, 40 something bucks for the oil pan? Yeah. It's like about that same price for the timing cover with a seal. Also, while I was there, got my new oil pump here. So you can see how these work. It's a gear in here, which it's really unusual for like what I'm used to. I'm used to old engines where it, you know, gets driven by a drive shaft. But we're gonna bolt this thing in. And because we're running a double roller timing chain, it comes with some spacers. Will you hold this? That actually space the oil pump off of the block just a little bit, just enough to clear the chain. This guy goes right here, and he's got the other one there.
Go.
And it appears they go on dry, but we gotta make sure our gears are meshed up right, or we're gonna mess the whole deal up.
That one started.
All right, we are splined up on our gears. You got all this?
I got these two started.
You got that?
Okay.
I've actually never put a double roller into an LS motor, so this is a first for me. I mean, the quality looks really good on it.
Yeah.
So on an LS motor, you kind of want to make sure this is centered up. You can actually put like feeler gauges in there and all that. I've never got that deep into it really. This is just a standard volume milling pump I got from the parts store, nothing fancy. I think we got it centered up there. We'll spin the motor over, make sure we're not in a bind. She was trying to get in the paint.
She's such a big girl.
Paint.
Hog jaws. Look. Hog jaw.
Everything feels free and nice still. I love that noise that the assembly line makes.
Oh yeah.
That feels good still. All right, I guess let's get our timing cover on.
I cleaned that thing up. That thing's looking nice.
Oh yeah?
Just tell you that.
Okay, good to know. Before you slap our timing cover on there, I'm gonna put a new seal in it. So I got a seal puller here. Simple as that. Our seal was very hard, so always a good idea to replace them when you can, especially if they're old like this engine is. It's funny that LS engines are getting old now, huh? I remember when they were new.
Yeah.
I remember going to all these shows back in the day, and it was LT1s and LT4s at these street rod shows on the engine stands, and now those are like ancient history. So I got my seal driver here. All right. Got our new seal in now. We're gonna lubricate this and install it. We got our new timing cover seal here. As I was saying before, these were like O-ringed. Going to, man, Ralphie, you just went above and beyond cleaning this thing up, I'll tell you what.
Thank you.
And we're not gonna lock this thing down until we get the harmonic balancer back on it. See how it has some wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to it? We wanna get that harmonic balancer on there to make sure we have it right. She helping paint over there?
Yeah, she likes some belly rubs.
Her got some hog jaws. I'm doing two things at once right now. Okay. Oh my god!
Calm
I
down.
did not know you were going to do that.
We don't want to get this so hot that we hurt the seal, but we're trying to expand it a little bit to make it go on the end of the crank better. Weird thing about these motors, it has no keyway. So you can mount this in any position. Because it doesn't have a distributor, so you don't really check the timing with a light.
It doesn't have a distributor?
No, it has no distributor. It's coil near plug ignition system. We got it hot, but hopefully not too hot that it's gonna hurt the seal. Look at that. Goes right on. Got our crank bolt here. It's funny what heat does, huh?
Yeah.
There we go. We got our harmonic balancer installed, which means our timing cover should be centered up now. Now we can tighten down these 10mm bolts. That should be dead center now. I don't feel or hear any interference there. So nothing's rubbing.
You can hear the oil off the
I can
tank.
still hear that oil, yes. Let's flip this thing over and we can put our oil pan on now. Yeah, help Daddy out there. Whew, right there. So, Daddy's hands. You really started singing Daddy's hands. Okay. It's incredible the amount of oil pickup tube O-rings I got between all these different gaskets I bought. But I'm gonna use the one that came with the Holley kit. At least I know it's the right size. We're gonna lubricate this O-ring really well. Same thing with the inlet on the oil pump there. Gonna lubricate it really good.
Oh.
I'm gonna let some go down in the pump itself just to make sure our gears don't dry start either. Whew.
That stuff is so strange.
That is serious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't want to pinch an O-ring.
Have you ever done that?
Yes. I had to take the oil pan off the LTD the first time. That's all lined up there. The Holley kit came with bolts. We need to put Loctite on these. The factory only had one bolt in this, but the Holley kit, this pickup tube actually comes with 2 bolts. You got one back in here.
Don't drop it.
That's gonna be hard to get to, isn't it? I should have done this before the timing cover, huh? Don't worry.
Oh, it's extremely scary.
Suspense.
That was really close, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Close call. Just want to make sure it's going down there correctly. We don't even have the oil gasket yet, buddy. Hold on. Hold on.
He's jumping the gun. I was like,
He's ready.
I know.
Then you're just like, "Ugh."
We're going to put a dab of RTV at all these little joints here just to make sure everything's sealed up good. If you notice, a lot of modern engines are going to straight RTV. Like, I haven't torn one down, but I've heard that the LT style engines that replace these don't even have a lot of gaskets. They have just RTV. I know that a lot of Japanese engines I've tore down are just RTV. The pan gasket actually has the oil patches going through it, so it's very critical that you have a good gasket here. I've reused these a lot, but this one was torn right here, and I thought that's the last place I want leaking is the oil passages.
Passages.
Okay, Papal. Go a little bit that way. All right, let's set that on there. Right there. Straight down.
My fingers.
We move the gasket. Okay. That's close. Okay, get that line back up. It's funny how it has these really long bolts in the back here.
They're funny looking.
And they're actually thinner diameter than the
Yeah,
others.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
It's weird. I'm worried about getting the oil pan dirty.
it looks good.
It's so nice, I don't want to get it dirty, but I guess it's going to get dirty, isn't it? Make sure we get these specs right, Ralphie.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So our crankshaft is not hitting our pan.
That's all good things.
Everything seems to be rotating good still. You're not supposed to eat that. Piggy, it's not edible. But she like spit it out. She realized it wasn't edible.
Good gosh.
Ralphie seems to be best friends with all these animals.
I love pigs.
He wants to get more pigs. I'm like, we don't need more pigs.
I love pigs.
And a basset hound.
And
Yeah,
a
and a
basset
basset
hound.
and a
Yeah,
mastiff.
And a mastiff, yes.
And an English bulldog. And everything
Yes,
else.
that's true.
Look, she just wanted to tear
She's
it up.
like-
She just teared it up.
That's what she did in the house.
That's what she did to my kitchen
Look.
bag right there.
Yeah,
Yes.
she tore it up, son.
So we got our comp hydraulic roller lifters here. I've had them soaked in oil, and we're gonna put them in our used lifter trays.
Why do they have those trays?
I think it's so that they can do cam swaps easier. It's supposed to actually hold the lifters in place if you spin the engine over. I don't know. You'd have to ask an engineer. So this will go right down there.
That's so weird.
See, that keeps the lifter from rotating. You can bolt that down there, Ralphie. It is a weird setup, huh?
Yeah. There you go, they're in.
The old inline six Chevrolet motors, they had a side cover. If you pulled the side cover off, you could pull the lifters out without even doing much nothing.
That's weird.
Okay. So basically by soaking these in oil, it fills up the piston inside there. There's like a piston and a spring, and it fills all that air gap up with oil so that it kind of builds up your lifter so it's ready for your first startup. Watch out, Piggy. Watch out, watch out. I'm worried she's gonna get my toesies here.
I don't think she will.
I don't know, she
Maybe
kind of
she's
tracks my
mature.
toes. So I got a microfiber cloth here and some brake cleaner, and I'm just cleaning off our surface just to make sure some of that oil we got on it, putting lifters in, isn't sticking around. You don't want anything on here except for a dry, clean, smooth metal surface.
Right.
Right, me? We're trying to get the dowel out of the cylinder head. We got one that's stuck in here. Trying to heat it up because the aluminum should expand more than the steel.
Hey.
Good deal. And you want to handle this thing while it's still 300 degrees Fahrenheit at least. So this, make sure your head and your head gasket doesn't walk around. Just being honest, I've left these off before on an LS motor and I didn't have any trouble from that one, but I just didn't have any and I was in a hurry. The Starlet actually, we went 590s with no dowel pins.
That's wild.
So we're using LS9 head gaskets, and since our block and our cylinder head surface is not perfect, I'm gonna put some of this copper spray on here just to fill in any imperfections. So as you can see, it's got a bunch of layers to it. So I think these are like a 6-layer gasket. They have more layers than a standard gasket like what was on this. This has a 3-layer gasket from the factory, I believe.
Is that good for boost?
Yeah, this head gasket is designed for the supercharged LS9. So it would have came in like a ZR1 Corvette supercharged or like a LSA supercharged Cadillac CTSV.
So why'd you choose this?
Who knows? It might see boost one day. You never know.
Hey.
Might as well do it while you're in here, right? And they're not any more expensive than the normal ones, so might as well get it. So it says front on it, so we want to make sure we get that correct. I'm going to sit it down here on the dowels, which are very handy for holding the head gasket in place. I've actually heard of guys taking the rivets out and spraying in between each individual layer on the gasket. I've never done that, but nice clean cylinder head surface. Try to go straight down on this, like that right there. Okay. Yeah, start putting little bolts. Now we're using our head bolts here, and some of you guys are gonna say, hey, those are torque to yield head bolts. You are 100% correct. The reason I'm doing this is if you've looked at some of the research that guys like Sloppy Mechanics have done, where they actually sent bolts off and had them tested to see if they truly lost strength by being retorqued once. The numbers that came back were the second or third time you torque them, they actually had a higher clamp load than the first time. So that's why we are reusing these, because it's actually been tested that it's not such a terrible thing as people used to think. The factory torque specs are like 22 foot-pounds plus so many degrees of angle. Best I can tell from researching, that ends up at about 65 to 70 pounds. So I'm gonna do 65 pounds on these. I went up to 40 just to get everything started, and now I'm gonna go 65. Here, Wall, you can try it. You're professional at this, huh?
Definitely. I think I've done 110.
110? That's incredible.
That was hard.
These little guys up here go to 22 foot-pounds. I'm not sure that they have a significant effect on anything, but we're torquing them there anyway. You just don't want to run it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that was my arm, bro. I'm just ready to hear it run.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That chop chop.
Are the dowels on that side?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot.
Hey, oopsie daisy. Is that a term that's still used?
Sure.
There we go.
You just used it.
Exactly. You got it?
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna sit on there? I'll help here. Oh, you're scaring me to death. This ain't a water slide. We gotta dock the shuttle here. We need to come up with a shirt or a sticker that says dock the shuttle, huh? There you go.
These smell terrible.
They smell?
Yeah.
I haven't had a sense of smell lately. Zippity doo dog. Alright, 65 Wall.
Here, Ralph.
Look at that. Sharing is caring.
When did they
right
learn
here.
that?
So these are your steam vents here. Depending on what year LS motor you have, kind of determines what style you have. I don't know if they ever made any that blocked off all four corners, but some guys say they'll overheat if you don't put this in. I don't know if that's true or not. I know some of the early ones, this tied into the back ones, and it was like a 4-corner deal. I know this is going to come up too high for our intake, so I'm going to bend it down just barely like that right there. We got our Comp Magnum push rods here, so these are going to be hardened and stronger than the stock ones. I'm going to drop them down in their holes here. We should be ready for some high RPM fun. I still want to build like a solid lift cam motor. I've kind of built one once before YouTube. Like I built a small block Chevy with a solid lift cam in high school, but that ended in catastrophe.
What happened?
The engine lost oil pressure, not because of the cam, but because of me not pre-lubing it and doing things right. That's how you learn though. I kind of want to build a solid lift cam motor, maybe one of those Cleveland motors. The only thing is, most of my engines, I want something I can drive all the time on the street. Not that you can't drive a solid lift cam motor, but it's just more maintenance. You know, you got to adjust the valves every so many miles. It's pretty simple on these. Some cars, if you drop a push rod, it can go down in the lifter valley, but
So it can on this?
no, you can't really on these. I
I've
mean,
been worried.
no, don't worry, it'll be fine.
Tear apart the old engine.
We got some assembly lube on the top of our valves. We got our stock rocker arms here, which these are really good rockers from the factory. A lot of guys have had really good luck. So we just want to make sure that our push rods are the correct length. Make sure they have the right amount of preload on them. Preload is you get to 0 lash, how many turns past that before this bottoms out. Because this is like a pedestal mount system where it just bolts straight down. There's no adjustment to this system. If you have the wrong length push rods, it's just not going to work. Just like a small block Ford is, and then some of the big block Fords. So on these LS motors, it's really hard to like spin the push rod. Right there feels like about 0 lash. Now let's see how much preload this has. It's half, 3/4, so good enough for who it's for right there. They recommend a half of a turn, and you'll hear everything. You'll hear people say a turn and a half. You'll hear people say all kinds of stuff, but 3/4 of a turn should be perfect. Spin it over, see if it feels all right. We should see all of our valves working. Watch that sidewall. They're doing valve things. On a motor like this, I'm not going to check piston to valve clearance. We have dish top pistons. We have a cam that does not have huge lift numbers. This has more duration numbers than lift numbers, which duration can get into the piston as well. I'm not worried a bit about that on this motor. If we had aftermarket pistons, if we had bigger than stock valve sizes, or you know, some 600 or 700 lift cam, I'd be worried. But on this one, I'm not worried at all. Feel good?
Yeah.
I guess let's put our cleaned up valve covers on. Ralphie did a great job cleaning our valve covers up. This thing was solid black when we started.
Yeah.
There's some people though freaking out that the lifter valley is still dirty. I love how short they are.
Yeah, they're very short.
Very short.
These bolts are like captive. They can't really fall out easily. And it's got an O-ring gasket.
Are you a good girl? Huh? Are you the bestest? Yeah. You the bestest?
So as usual, we don't crank it down with the impact. We do all this stuff by hand. A lot of bolts on these are 8mm, which is the same as a 5/16, right, Ralph?
Yeah.
Let's go over this real quick on advantages and disadvantages of LS versus traditional small block Chevy. So this would be normally a 2-bolt main or possibly a 4-bolt main block, but the 4 bolts on these style just go straight in like this. This has 6 bolts in the main, so a lot better design on the mains. These though have a better head bolt design, so they have extra head bolts, as you can tell, for every cylinder. Better clamping force on the heads with the traditional small block Chevy. But if you measure stuff like the distance from the block surface to the top of the port on the exhaust here, you compare it to the small block Chevy, you can see the port's quite a bit higher, but it shows up even more on the intake side. So if you go from the block surface to the top of the intake port, look how much higher the port is on an LS motor. Like it's literally almost twice as tall. And the farther you can move that port up and your valve angles roll over, the better the cylinder head flows. So basically this cylinder head would be equivalent to like a super high-end race head for a small block Chevy. These are 23-degree angle valves here. I believe a LS is like 15 degrees. So it gives you a better shot straight into the cylinder. There's just a lot of advantages in a stock configuration for an LS motor versus a traditional small block Chevy, but there are advantages to those too. The early small block Chevys have a 2-piece rear main seal, where these all have a 1-piece rear main. There's advantages to both, but definitely a lot more technology in these engines. We got our new water pump here that came with new gaskets. Gonna bolt this down, just putting it on there dry. There's just a huge aftermarket support for LS motors. All the accessory drive, like this water pump, really has a lot of aftermarket support. If you're wanting to do something, somebody probably makes it. That's all torqued down. Let's set our MSD Atomic intake back on here. Right there. Is it?
Yeah.
You know, I just realized I've been saying the wrong name. It's MSD Atomic Air Force intake. That all fits good there. Look, it's close to that, but it fits on there. Between here and here, we're about 8 inches shorter now. So that's gonna help all the way around. If we wanted to, we could have went with Corvette spacing and gained a couple inches here, but we have room in the front. Time for the headers. Now, obviously, we're not going to leave them on forever. We just want to see what it looks like because it looks awesome with the headers on it. And now we have a bunch of good bolt holes that we didn't have before. We had 5 broken studs earlier. What about there?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
On these LS motors, you can actually flip these headers around backwards. It looks like a race motor.
Wow, that looks so much better.
We're literally looking at a race motor here.
Looks good.
This is very similar to the engine that was in my GTO and in my Starlet.
It does look like a race motor now.
It does. I love the headers. They look really good quality. You know, sometimes you get headers and they're just not good quality.
Yeah, I like
Those look really nice. I'm glad they fit without I was afraid we're going to have to like beat the headers, you know, to get them to fit.
I think this is the first time I've seen headers on an engine outside of the car. Usually
yeah.
we're cramming them down under something,
Right.
trying to get them in.
I was thinking last night, you could flip these forward on this thing because we have so much room.
Yeah.
If you ever turboed it, you could probably take these headers and point them forward and move them all the way up here and put the turbos up there, you know?
Yeah, you really could probably.
You got like tons of room for turbo stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice. Valid.
I'm gonna try our alternator mount now, just to make sure it's gonna fit. If y'all wanna pull the alternator off this, you can also take the tensioner off this one and put on our new water pump.
Ow! It's coming. There we go. There we go.
Because we have a truck block, we're actually gonna have to go back later and drill and tap this hole out on the block. I don't know why they put the boss there, but did not put the actual threads and drill it, but they did. Well, that's how it's gonna be though. We just gotta drill our hole there. Well guys, I think we're gonna end it off here. We really can't move any farther with this because we don't have the transmission to put it in the van. You can expect future videos of us getting a transmission for this and torque converter and all of our wiring and fuel fittings and hoses and stuff. Oh man, that went on my toes.
Still not.
Oh, there you go.
It fell.
You tried. We appreciate you guys watching this. I really can't wait to get it in there and get it running. I think it's gonna be really awesome. We were trying a new microphone in this video. Sorry if it was a little quiet. In the beginning of the video, I kind of figured out some of the settings. I didn't realize that were adjustable. I'm trying to get better audio. I know sometimes we struggle with getting the kids' voices and stuff. It's really hard. Like, I know you probably watch other channels and they have great audio, but they're mocking one person, which is super easy to do. Like, if it was just me in the videos, I could have perfect audio all the time.
Or like you and mom or something.
Right, but basically if you go past 2 channels, you basically have to get one microphone that's a condenser mic that picks up everybody, and that's what we're working with right now. We've consulted some people, some other big channels, and tried to get the best we could, so hopefully we can get the settings figured out and get some really good audio for you. Hopefully it's really good right now with these new settings I tried.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But we appreciate Holley's help with this build. If you didn't know, they own MSD. They also own Hooker headers, the Holley oil pan, Holley water pump, all that's really awesome. Also, a big thank you to Comp Cams for their help with the cam kit. I think it's gonna sound really, really good when we get this thing running.
I'm so excited.
We actually already have a Holley Terminator X kit here, but there's really no point in doing anything with that until we're wiring it in the car. So you'll see that. We're planning on running a Terminator X Max on this, so it runs the electric throttle and the transmission and everything. Let me hit you with this, Ralph.
I'm good.
Anytime this kid eats, he just can't eat anymore, can he? Here, Ellie, you ready? Oh man, she catches him right out of there. Link in the description. If you want to see any of the parts we got from Holley, go down below, click on it. It'll show you the whole parts list. It's super easy. Also, a link to Comp Cams in the description. We really appreciate everybody that likes the video, subscribes, all of our members. We really appreciate that. Every little bit helps, you know? Huh?
No thanks.
What? Squeeze? No?
Not today?
As far as future videos, I think we're going to get back on the Fairmont really, really soon. Ralphie and me have been dying to work on that. We've been waiting on a couple big parts for a long time now. We finally have those. We got to get back on the motorhome. I want to get the oil leak fixed on it. We want to get on the Econoline van, so that's at least what's on my mind right now. You can check out our website at thesleeperdude.com. We got hoodies, we got hats, t-shirts, stickers. We're working on some new stuff, trying to get it in. We really appreciate all your support there. Sometimes we have squeezy artwork there as well. We're trying to work on getting some stuff with the other kids on there for sale as well. They could do. You can check out our second channel at
Sleeper Dude 2. Sleeper Dude 2.
You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at
Sleeper Dude 88.
You can check us out on our third channel at
Sleeper Dude Armed.
Y'all got down, Mom. Not a bit of help on that one.
Y'all didn't need no help?
No help at all.
You didn't need no help.
Here you go. Stand up. Up. There you go, girl. I hate Scooter missed out on that, you know.
Poor Scooter.
He's just sitting in the house shaking. He's just shaking. That's what he's doing. Well, I guess let's go see the other animals. I know they're out there waiting on their special treats today.
Yeah.
Whoa! There's Walkie. Well, they got their big hay bale out there today. But Wayne's found out what's going on. Here she comes. She ran away from home yesterday. We were looking for her. Yes. I don't know if she found a wild boar boyfriend out in the woods or what.
Oh, no, I didn't think about that.
What if she's gonna have babies?
Lord.
She went under the fence and then couldn't figure out her way back in. I had to let her back in.
I was a nervous wreck.
She was. We were looking for her. Look, you got new goats too, Mom, don't you?
Oh, I do have new goats.
They probably haven't seen the new goats.
That
So we got this new guy. He's a boy, right?
Yeah,
That's a boy.
That's the girl.
That's the girl there. And where's one more? Where's, oh, right there. Right there. It's funny, they look like the same goats you've had forever. There you go, Rocky. Rocky Jr.
Here, Murph. Here.
Oh, he's crying around. Here.
Easy.
He is rambunctious right now. He's like too big to be a puppy, but he's still a puppy.
Yeah.
He's so big.
Mom, you can have that last one if you
No,
want it.
thanks. Give it to Murph. Here. Where's Granny? We'll
Granny,
give
you
her
want
the
the
juice.
That's what the people want right there. That's what they're looking for. Rocky Jr.'s like, I can get some of that. It's your treat time. Look
It's
how
your
muddy her
treat.
nose is.
Ooh, that's a good stuff. So down. Oh, that's so good. That was so good.
We was afraid we was going to have to end it off without her. She had went through the fence over there somewhere, but that's just part of having animals. They get out sometime, you know.
Yeah.
They get under the fence. Pigs are bad too. They push under stuff.
Yeah, they're very curious.
It would have been such a shame, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Is he going to do it? Yep, there's the foot.
Every single time.
He's going. He's going. What a goofball. You can't even keep your tongue in, buddy.
You're an idiot.
He's so funny.
And remember, Jesus saves. And Dollar Generals are every 7 miles.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Granny is always watching. Always watching.